So after Donald laid out what's going on, I should make a slight amendment to it. We've been facing in the city of Berkeley, the city council, city staff, city residents, anybody trying to do anything in their home, the last 6 or 7 years have seen an onslaught of new laws from Sacramento to change housing. ABAG, which is all of the Bay Area cities, has 2 or 3 staff members dedicated to nothing but reading the new legislation from Sacramento and trying to translate it into something that a city can do so they're in compliance with the law. And every year, 5 or 10 or 20 new pieces of legislation emerge that modify whatever the city did the year or 2 before. So we can criticize the city, but we have some of the smartest city employees. We're Berkeley. However, if you'd like to have access to the data the city accumulates, and the city has 29,000 parcels, the city, to their great credit, over the last 5 years, looked at every parcel of land in the city of Berkeley to attempt to figure out, is that a parking lot that could become housing? Is it a vacant house? Is it an abandoned warehouse? And they cataloged 29,000 properties, the assessor permit number. There's a unique number for every one of those parcels. But if you attempt to merge what the parcels are, and these are all the parcels, I'll show you in just a second in Berkeley, if you try to take what's the truth about that piece of land and the sequence of permitting applications, it's sort of a nightmare because it's embedded in a database that's very hard to touch. So step one for us, we're putting up every piece of data about the Berkeley pipeline of permits. And when you see this is a movie, it's an image of a rendering of every parcel in the state of Berkeley, in the city of Berkeley, showing what's its state, is it about to be built, has it been demolished, where does it stand in the permitting pipeline. But this is totally open, as is the database, which is not quite true of the cities, because it's hard to get the data from the city. So what you'll see here, let's just give you a little orientation. On the left side of the screen, you'll see university, and that large block, that's the 26-story, huge new housing complex on top of McDonald's at the intersection of University and Shannon. So that's what will be on top of McDonald's. Then as you move along Shattuck, that tall block is the new 34-story. So that will land, for any of you here that have white hair, that will land on top of the J.C. Penney's. If you have slightly less white hair, that's the Walgreens. But it's right next to the Shattuck Hotel. So that's the 34-story one. And then as you move up into that golden colored block, that's the new 1,500 student university new housing. As you drive down Bancroft, you get to the bottom and there's that giant hole. That's what that golden colored thing is there. Then as you move up to the right, you can see the Campanile. To the right, far over there, is the new Berkeley housing announced 2 weeks ago. It will be 26 stories. That's what's on top of the Anna Head School. That's the block just north of People's Park. And to the right, you see that L-shaped thing? That's People's Park. So just to give you a sort of a, let's go take a look. Here we go. So as you fly up toward the new Anna Head School replacement, you'll notice around it on Durant, just to the left of that, we're looking up Bancroft now, and you can see the blue means that's already completed. The Durant large building, that's I think a 22-story, that's going to go in on those old buildings just 1 block below Telegraph. And as you can see, across the city, because of this sequential implementation of someone arrives with a permit application, the city reads it over for a while. Does it satisfy fire, structural, all the elements? Go back and forth with the person that wants to build something. That usually takes a year, might take 2. And we have inside our database the exact timing of every step in the process for every developer in the city of Berkeley. There's a lot of stuff behind this, but just to give you a feeling of what it looks like overall, notice along Telegraph here on South Side, there's some new buildings going in, so you can see the People's Park, the Anna Head, coming down Hay Street. You can see just along Telegraph, we're beginning to have a series of projects. These are all approved to be constructed. Now, that hits the hard part about our country at the moment. If you're someone wanting to build something and you saw, well, here's how much it will cost to build. Think again, tariffs mean your building costs have doubled. And if you think, well, I'm going to build something, it's one of these buildings downtown, it's the apartment building. Bank, will you lend me money? In the old days, that is 3 or 4 years ago, they might lend you 80% of the money you needed to build it. Now it's 50%. Oh my. And Patrick Kennedy, who builds really he's built an enormous amount of housing in Berkeley and done a great job on a lot of it. Very good for students, good for seniors. Patrick suddenly realizes if he had a $50 million or $80 million project, he has to raise, say it's an $80 million project, he has to raise $40 million from the bank and $40 million somewhere else. Private investors. You better be good in telling your story if you're going to get people to invest in your projects. So everything's frozen. And you can see, as we look across the new downtown, and just to be sure that everybody's got some perspective, notice to the right of the 34-story building, those are our 2 current tallest buildings in Berkeley, right next to the BART stop. So you can see the 2 oldest, tallest, and then to the right, that white building is the new Marriott Hotel, where you can go up and have a margarita on the top, panoramic view of that hotel. But notice beyond it is not only the McDonald's, which is the big tall one, but just a little bit to the west of McDonald's at University in Shattuck is a second 26-story building permitted to go in. So as we continue looking around the rest of Berkeley, if you slide down Shattuck, going south, notice all those buildings. If you drive up Ashby and cross a Shattuck and there's a gas station, that's it, right there. That's the Shattuck by gas station, new building. And these hold many thousands of beds. Now as we move into North Berkeley, you'll notice there are 2-story, 4-story, some 6-story. Now on Shattuck we have a Patrick Kennedy project on top of Kool-Aid. So that's 100 units, but there is our future, given all of these modifications. And in some cases, the process of doing it, as Donald has pointed out, seems to have eluded the city council because they haven't had a way to see this kind of overall picture. Sorry, computer problem.
That's probably cut.
There we go. So, as you look toward Berkeley from the north, you can see the hills, the beautiful trees, and then it comes down into this constellation of brand new projects being built. Let's finish this flyby. And the reason I show this, so, all of you, if you simply go to the website called berkeleybuild.com, you'll see this. So this isn't anything hard to see, and we will fix it up to add in some modifications as we begin to get the details of what the facades look like and so forth. But just to give you a feeling of what is our future, it's definitely a Berkeley that's not too much like the Berkeley that we know. And the one final comment on this, the side effects of rapid permitting and the process through our planning committee and our design review committees and so on, if you go fairly fast and get lost in the details, you lose the overall picture of how this affects every shop, every web of human interactions that's formed over the years on each of the streets that compose our community.
Awesome.
Thank you.
John Gage, ladies and gentlemen. John Gage. So, there is a lot more to John's website. He walked me through it last week and I fell out of my chair. This is just not even scratching the surface. So after we break from the main session here, folks that want to dig deeper in here, John's going to have this up on the screen and he'll show you more stuff on here. The point is, this is our future. These are projects that are already in the pipeline. So when the city says we need more housing, this is the new housing that is coming, and we do not disagree that more is needed still. But when they try to claim that Berkeley has not done enough to add housing, know this: Berkeley has been recognized by the state of California for adding more housing for its type city than almost any other city in the state. The Berkeley of yesterday, where it was opposed to new housing and was really a NIMBY community, that Berkeley is long since gone, and this documentation that John put together shows you that that is true. David,